Good morning, everyone. Now you can see the story number 3, the tickets. You can listen or read this text. Mr. and Mrs. Waters had a rabbit farm. They lived in a big house in the country 3 miles from the village of Bellstone. One morning, Miss Waters was reading the paper when she saw an advert for a traveling circus. "Look," she said to her husband, "there is a circus coming to Bellstone tomorrow." "I haven't seen a circus for years," said Mr. Waters. "Why don't we go to see it tomorrow?" "All right," said his wife. The next day, Mr. and Mrs. Waters got a nice surprise. There was a letter in the post, and inside were 2 free tickets for the circus. "I wonder who could have sent them," said Mr. Waters. "I have no idea," said his wife. So, that night, Mr. and Mrs. Waters drove into Bellstone to see the circus. The seats were right on the front row, 2 of the best seats in the tent. They had a perfect view of the ring. They arrived just as the show was about to start. There was a tall man with a bird sitting next to Mr. Waters. As soon as the show started, this man got up and left. "That's odd," said Mr. Waters. "Perhaps he isn't feeling well," said Mrs. Waters. The show was great. Mr. and Miss Waters went home feeling very happy. But when they got home, they had an awful shock. Someone had broken into their house. The place was a terrible mess. Every room in the house had been turned inside out. The robbers had taken money and silver and jewels. Miss Waters phoned for the police. 10 minutes later, Inspector Hutchinson arrived. He looked around the house. Then he said to Mrs. Waters, "Do you go to the circus this evening by any chance?" "Why, yes," said Miss Waters. "And did you sit next to a tall man with a bird who left early?" asked the inspector. "Why, yes," said Mr. Waters. "But how on earth did you know that?" Inspector Hutchinson called the chief who had robbed Mr. and Mrs. Waters. The chief made a statement telling the police how he had planned the robbery. Here is the beginning of his statement. "First, I bought a newspaper which told me when the circus was coming to town. Next, I looked around for a big house in a lovely spot not too far from town. I soon found out how many people live at the house. Then I..." Let's go. Now you can see the activity vocabulary. You may write these words in your copybooks and learn by heart. Let's go. The Waters, the name of family. A rabbit, кролик. A farm, ферма. In the country, в сельской местности. 3 miles from, в 3 милях от. An advert for something, реклама чего-либо. A traveling circus, передвижной цирк. To suggest that somebody should do something. Предложить кому-либо сделать что-либо. 4 years, it's mean for a long time. To agree to do something, согласиться сделать что-либо. The next day, на следующий день. To get a surprise, получить сюрприз. There was a letter in the post. С почты пришло письмо. A free ticket for the circus. Бесплатный билет в цирк. I wonder, интересно. I have no idea, понятия не имею. A seat, место. On the front row, в первом ряду. Its antonym is on the back row. A robber, вор, грабитель. Silver, серебро. A tent, палатка, шатер. The ring, арена. They had a perfect view of the ring. It means they could see the ring very well. To arrive at the circus, it means to come to the circus. The show was about to start. It means The show was just going to begin. A tall man, высокий мужчина. Its antonym is a short man. A bird, борода. To sit next to somebody, сидеть рядом с кем-либо. As soon as the show started, как только представление началось. To get up, it means to rise. To leave, to go away. To find something odd, it means to find something strange. To feel well, its antonym is to feel unwell. The show was great, it means the show was very good. To go home, пойти домой. To get home, it means to come home. To have an awful shock, быть потрясенным. To break into somebody's house, вломиться в чей-либо дом. The place was in terrible mess. Дом был в ужасном беспорядке. Every room in the house had been turned inside out. В каждой комнате все было перевернуто вверх дном. To phone for the police, вызвать полицию по телефону. 10 minutes later, it means in 10 minutes. He looked around the house. Он окинул взглядом дом. To go to the circus, ходить в цирк, пойти в цирк. By any change, случайно. To answer in the affirmative, it means to say yes. Its antonym is to answer in the negative. How on earth did you know that? Как вы об этом узнали? To catch, поймать. A thief, вор. To rob somebody, обокрасть кого-либо. To make a statement, сделать заявление. To tell somebody, to say to somebody, сказать кому-либо. To plan the robbery, спланировать ограбление. First, сначала. To buy a newspaper, купить газету. Next, it means then. To look around for something, it means to look for something. In a lonely spot, в уединенном месте. Not far from town, недалеко от города. To find out, it means to learn. Now you can see these irregular verbs you must learn by heart. To see, saw, seen, видеть. To get, got, получать. To send, sent, sent, отправлять. To drive, drove, driven, ехать, то есть водить машину. To leave, left, покидать, оставлять. To find, found, находить. To go, went, gone, идти. To break, broke, broken, ломать. To take, took, taken, брать. To sit, sat, сидеть. To catch, caught, ловить. To tell, told, рассказывать. To say, said, говорить. To come, came, приходить. To know, knew, known, знать. Thank you for your attention. I wish you good luck.